So, good evening, everyone. As you can see on the screen, we would going to use a different method. Um, I would stop using the story cards because I feel that I'm not improving at all. I also feel bored with making a story of pictures because I think I'm just using the same vocabulary every day. I can think of another thing. So today I'm just going to throw myself different or random questions, random interview questions, and I'm going to give my best to try each of the question. I mean to try to answer each of the questions. And I would also give a timer to every question for like 1 minute and 30 seconds. I would try to finish all these 20 questions today. So let's dive in. The first question here: how do you handle difficult and angry customers over the phone? First of all, I had two teaching experience in a private school. That is my experience. I've never tried to call someone and to have um, a misunderstanding conversation, but in regards to my work before, which is at in a private school, every time I had difficulties with the parents. For example, if I message them about the inconvenience that their child caused, I would try to stay calm, at the same time patient towards the parent, and most importantly, to always um, give positive words. Yes, I always um, understand their side. I always try um, to be humble as possible as I can. Um, so every time, every time my uh, parent, you know, every time they are annoyed with, uh, you know, the announcement that's a sudden announcement that was given by the school, I would really try to let them understand, with with by properly uh, talking to them, and by letting them understand its reasons for as the sudden announcement. For example, if they need to pay for the upcoming events, of course, there are parents who would go against the given or the the given cost that they would have to pay. So I would give all the the list items that where their money is going. So I would also let them understand uh, the importance of the event. And yeah, I would always going to understand the side of my parent, so they would not go far, no, by their emotion. The next question is, what motivated you to apply for a job in a call center? Call center is one of the newest known and famous um, companies that is evolving today here in the Philippines. And I would love to try and to um to be able to grow in this kind of company, um to to share my knowledge, especially through conversations. And also I wanted to help those who in need. Yeah, so I choose to apply in a call center for a reason that I would love to extend hand to those customers who needed support with the problem that they are facing. The same with my students. I love to be with parents to discuss the problem that their child is causing. The next question that we have here is, can you tell me about a particular challenging customer interaction and how you resolved it? In my case as a teacher, there was a time where I had a particular challenge with my parent. It was actually the I was the advisor of the grade 2. My students were so young. Yes, so what happened there? It was just a kind of a playing. Children are playing, and when they are playing, they sometimes hurt each other, and it was not intentional. So the customer whose child were hurt a bit was so frustrated why the teacher, according to her, she's accusing the teacher why the teacher did not able to watch closely her um, students. And of course it was my time, so I told the parent. First I calmed them down. I stay my posture and talk to them calmly, and I told them the reason why I was not able to look closely at their child because I was busy recording their score at that time. And of course not minute by minute we can actually see what the children is are doing. So yeah, I explained to her, and eventually the mother or the parent understood and just um apologized for the emotions that he had shown to me. But I understand. Yes. The next question that we have here, how do you prioritize and manage your task while handling multiple calls at once? So, this is just the same with a teacher. How do you manage your time um, having a lot of different subjects? So, what I do is I actually write down my priorities, and yeah, after that I'm going to check it, mark which among of them is the most important thing to finish first, and then after that I'm going to the least important calls that or meetings that I have to attend. And then after that, I make sure that every little meeting that I have to must be fulfilled. So I secure my parent that every time I give time for them, I would be there. So that's how I prioritize my time and manage my work. So I would prioritize them properly based on the importance of each meetings or each subjects. And then the next question here is, how do you maintain a positive attitude and tone of voice while on the phone with customers? So, of course, um, as a trained teacher, as a trained individuals, wherever we are, we should stay calm and we should always be on posture. We should always although it's not 100% but 95% on the right uh, posture of ourselves, because that is our job. We should be responsible and we should be able to stay um, com- composed every time we had to talk with someone who may have who may misunderstood us. So yeah, we should make sure to be humble and to be passionate and to also to just feel um we should always calm ourselves while talking to someone who is not that really you know in good mood. Yeah. So we have to understand them. Yeah. And the next question here is, what strategies do you use to upsell or cross sell products or services to customers? Upsell or cross sell products or services to customers. Actually, I also have this experience where I became the sales lady in sidewalk vendors. So how I manage, or what strategies do I usually do to attract the attention of my customers? One of it is by making it a more attractive to the eye of the customer. So by making some arrangement on the items and putting it in front and making it so much a catchy, so every time they pass by the store, they would um like spend seconds or minutes looking at the items. So what I do also is I will assure the customer that whatever problem that they have, we will give them a solutions, and that is our first priority. And also to sell products is, if the products is necessary for them, they can't live without the products, then they must have it. But if the product is not that so necessary, I wouldn't also going to recommend it based on my own experience. So we also have the next question here. Can you give an example of a time when you had to think on your feet and come up with a solution and come up with a solution uh, for a customer's problem? Yeah. Can you give an example of a time when you had to think on your feet and come up with a solution for a customer's problem? Yeah, I actually have this problem where I had this kind of customer who were so hesitant to buy uh, a bag. Yes, because according to him, he was not sure if it fits with its clothes. I mean, he wasn't sure if the bag that he was going to buy would fit his clothes on. So I assured my customer that if this bag doesn't didn't fit with your clothes, then we are open for a refund. So you can just come by to the store and just tell us the problem. We could either give the refund, or we could change the bag to a bigger size so it would fit to your clothes. And yeah, the customer actually got the customer was so happy with our recommendations, and he bought the bag. So I think we give him the solutions. The next question that we have here: how do you stay organized and keep track of important information while on a call? Of course, we have to be active, be attentive. That's the term, rather. And every time we had a call, we also have to be, multitasking. While on a call, we should also know how to take down if there's some other things to do while talking. So that is why we have to be attentive, and we should always know what are the things that we are doing, so that, and we also, before that, we also have to be prepared on the things that we are going to do, because we do not know because we do not know a time will come that we would be tested by, by a multitasking. So we should also learn how to multitask. So maybe while on a call, I would also should learn how to take down um other things. For example, you're in a call, and then your colleague just passed something onto you to do, then you can just look at it while talking to your customer properly, and also taking down the next task that you're doing. So maybe that could be, yeah, keep track. And then next question here is: what qualities do you believe are important for a successful call center representative? And for me, I think the very first one that we have to consider, if we talk about the qualities, is uh, it should be patient, because as a call center agent, you would be facing a lot of different personalities. So, yeah, and every time you would have call with them, we do not know the temperature that they are having. So you should always be prepared to be patient, because not everything is going smoothly, right? So, yeah, number one is being patient. The next one is being attentive, because there are some, maybe a sudden circumstances where you will going to face challenges where you might don't know how to do it, or yeah, so you have to be attentive, and you have to be capable of doing that. So be prepared beforehand, so you would be ready for every possible circumstances that might happen sooner or later. Number three is you should have a good uh, composure all the time, because if you would be carried away with the with those irritated customers, and then it wouldn't be not good for you. You would um, you would be going to receive a feedback telling that you are so slow. uh you have a you have a temper, you have a small temper, or what do you call that one, uh, uh you have a short temper. You would be labeled as a short, you might be labeled as a short tempered person, right? So you should have a lot of patience with you. So patience, attentive, and composure. Then the next one is always be calm. No, just whatever happens, whatever might happens, just be calm and assure the customers that you are doing everything that you can to help them solve their problems, or to help them or to assist them in solving whatever problems that they are having. Next is okay, so the next one here is um how do you handle an upset customer who wants to speak to a manager? So how do you handle an upset customer who wants to speak to a manager? We can never, we can never, um, every job has its kind of difficulties, so we can never really stop this kind of situation. So we should always be prepared as well with this kind of situation. So if there might be circumstances, what are you going to do if the customer wants to speak with your manager to maybe to tell her to tell your manager about you uh, um, how you handle the problems with your customer. So of course you should still going to be patient and to calm. So just just reassure the customers that you're doing everything that you can in your power, that you're just going to just going to admit that you're sorry, you're going to make it up to her, you're going to find ways. And if the customer doesn't even listen to you, then that's the time that you cannot really stop the customer by doing so. Just let it be. If that happens, then it happens. And number 11, have you ever dealt with a language barrier while on a call? How did you handle it? Yeah, we sometimes experience this kind of difficulties where sometimes we receive a call who doesn't speak with our language, so we have to switch to a language where we can understand each other. So, for example, I speak with Tagalog, before, and I actually ordered something in Shopee, and the delivery boy actually speaks only a Bisaya. So since I'm living here now in Visayas, I also learned a little bit in Bisaya. So what I did, I try my best to understand and to have a conversation with the person using his language, so we can so we can understand each other. So language barrier shouldn't be shouldn't be shouldn't be the reason for you not to be able to understand each other. If ever there would be circumstances that would happen like this, then maybe I would ask for a support from my colleague or from my manager. Yeah. Next one is, can you explain the importance of excellent customer service in a call center setting? I would say that excellent customer service is where in the call center agent is was able to give a solution to a customer problem, wherein she was able to handle it with a proper etiquette. For example, with a good conversation attitude, with patience, with composure, with calmness, and also reassure the customers that the problem that he's asking for support or assistance would be solved. I think that's the best excellent customer service. Yeah, and never complain, and never talk back to your customer, and never raise your voice for them. Yeah. Next is, have you how have you handled difficult feedback or criticism from a supervisor or customer? Yeah, I happened to experience this one when I was teaching in a private school where I mismanaged the task that was given to me, maybe because I trust my colleague. I thought my senior colleague and our supervisor were in good, in good terms, but actually I was, I wasn't, you know, it wasn't. So what happened was, because every one of us actually sometimes felt this gap between your supervisor and you, so you can actually go directly to your supervisor because you feel ashamed or to approach, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to approach first your colleague who has the same level, right? So yeah, you're going to ask first for their, for their recommendations and for their help. And knowing that my colleague that I am referring to was a tenure where they spent so many years being together in that school with my supervisor, I thought that she knows as well what our supervisor had given me to do. So I just I was blindsided. So I just follow whatever she did told me, and I was not able to ask my supervisor about the details of the task that she had given to me. I just, instead of directly going to her and ask for the details, what I did was I go to my colleague and ask for the details, and my colleague just gives thumbs up, and yeah, she said that it's okay, that would do. So I thought it was okay. It was moving smoothly. But right after my supervisor saw the task that I made, he was so upset that she didn't like it. So what happened? I received all the kinds of bad words, bad name it. I received that, and I just stay calm. I just stay humble. I stay patient. I repeatedly say sorry, sorry, but I know sorry doesn't really going to solve the problem. So what happened was, um I did everything I could to swap the situation, to turn the situation into a positive vibrant. So that's what I did, and um you know um yeah, and it became successful actually. So I did learn all I did. I accepted, and I it was a lesson learned to me actually. And after the event, my supervisor actually came to me and asked for an apology. She didn't really meant everything that she said to me, and I understand I told her I didn't take it personally, rather I took it as part of my growing professionalism. It's part of a job, it's part of the job, and we have to accept it, because in accepting our mistakes, that's where we learn a lot. Yeah. And then, how do you how do you build a rapport and establish a relationship with customers over the phone? Of course, the first thing that we have to do is we have to, as I said before, be patient, compose yourself, stay humble, and of course um, to assure the customer that you can really assist them with their problem, and just be go with the flow, so you can establish a rapport with them. And every if the customer is a repeated customer, then it would be it would be um it would be loved, no, by the customer, if you already know them. For example, if this repeated customer is going to ask again for assistant for a certain problem, and then you would just go to say, Mr. Good morning, how are you? I miss you. Thank you so much for connecting with us again. We are so happy to assist you in every problem. So yeah, um, you only need to um, be to look always. I mean to memorize all your customers. Next is how do you handle confidential information from customers and ensure their privacy is protected? So this is a very personal question. So of course, it's we first should all we should first know that there is a law that specifically um specifically tell about this kind of privacy. So, as a professional or as an individual, should be the this should be the first and foremost thing that we have to be reminded of, that um, confidentiality is worth than our lives. Yeah, and whatever it is, we should always never allow it to spread, because our professional is in the line. So we have to, to make sure that we have this professionalism with us. Can you give an example of a time when you successfully de-escalated a tense interaction with a customer? Okay, so yeah. So uh, going back to my story, let's just talk about my. Although it wasn't actually came to escalate, um, but my customer was so worried at that time that if he buy the wrong bag that would not suit for his clothes, he would going to receive um you know um to receive a lot of uh it's not punishment, but a lot of murmur from his wives, and he doesn't like us. So to assure that, yeah, I give him option. So yeah, that's one of the reason why it it became successful. How do you handle a high volume of calls during peak hours? High volume calls. high volume of calls during peak hours. Maybe by being attentive and by being calm. I'm not sure. How do you stay updated on a new products, services, and policies to better assist customers? Of course, the very first thing that we have to do is always to update or to be updated to the newest policies, to the newest products and services of the company, and we have to give or we have to allot time for that to study and to learn about the new products, services, and the policies. So we are updated. We should be updated for that. So we would also be, in the process of evolving. Sure. Can you tell about a time when you went above and beyond for a customer? I would say this is for positive. I haven't actually experienced this one, but well, going back again to my story, I would say that I went above and beyond because I was able to really help my customer and solve his problem. Yeah. So he didn't need to go to other store and to find other bag where because it's not easy. Not all. I'm not putting down others, but not all side of vendor can understand and can communicate with their language. So yeah, to minimize the difficulty that he would face, I just offer him something which he gladly accepted. Um, how do you handle stress and maintain a positive attitude during busy and challenging days in the call center? Well, stress and challenges are always there. What can we do is just to stay on the track, stay calm and be patient, stay humble. That's all the things that are the things I would recommend that we must have as a call center agent. So yeah, whatever the situations, wherever we are, we should always stay on our guard and we should always be humble to others. Thank you so much. I hope you would learn something from this video. OMG, it took us 30